Mind, she don't want to, so that was me.
All right, no worries, no worries. Do any of the arrows want to do the 10 commandments?
I did. Christopher would like to.
Bring it out.
And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yah, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of slavery. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of that which is in the Shamayim above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them nor serve them, for I, Yah, your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the wickedness of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing kindness to thousands of those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yah your Elohim to naught, for Yah does not leave the one punished who brings his name to naught. Remember the Sabbath day to Kodesh it. 6 days you labor and shall do all your work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath of Yah, your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, you nor your sons, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For it in in 6 days Yah made the Shamayim in the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore Yah barak the Sabbath day and Kodesh it. Respect your father and your mother, so that your days are prolonged upon the land which Yah your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder, you do not commit adultery, you do not steal, you do not bear false witness against your neighbor, you do not covet your neighbor's house, you do not covet your neighbor's house, wife, nor male servant. For his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. And all the people saw the thunders and the lightning flashes, the sound of the ram's horn, and the mountain smoking, and the people saw it, and they trembled and stood up at a distance and
That's good.
to Moshe.
All praise, all praise. Alrighty.
Yeah, all praise. Good job.
Leah Bombia, are they doing any quiz or anything today for the bebes?
I don't even think she with Zuri right now. So I don't
Oh,
think she
okay.
got nothing prepared.
Okay. No problemo. Alrighty. Do any of the Ox or Akutis have a opening scripture that they'd like to bring out today?
Yeah, I had one over in Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 4, starting at the first verse. Sirach, chapter 4, starting at the first verse. And it reads, "My son, defraud not the poor of his living, and make not needy eyes to wait long." Verse 2, make not hungry, make not an hungry soul sorrowful, neither provoke a man in his distress. Verse 3, add not more trouble to an heart that is vexed, and defer not to give him that is in need. Verse 4, reject not the supplication of the afflicted, neither turn away thy face from the poor man. Verse 5, turn not away thine eye from the needy, and give him none occasion to curse thee. For if he curse thee in the bitterness of his soul, his prayer shall be heard of him that made him. So all praise to the Most High. Just, I know, a lot of people out and about, are in need and going through a lot of things. Even, some of us in the family might be going through, but this is why we, are called family. We try to, meet the need of our family and then the ones that we may not know, that's called our stranger, kind of like Yahusha said, when you seen him, you thought it was just a stranger, but you was entertaining him essentially, and so yeah, we just gotta, like the word said, was it last Tuesday? Be watchman and be watchful, of such things. So all praise.
All praise. Thanks for bringing it out. Alrighty. It's time for our worship portion. Who want to sing today? Bo? Everybody don't volunteer at once now. All right, Sister Octavia.
If not, I can just pick a couple songs from the ones that people shared yesterday.
Yes, please.
Y'all give me 2 seconds.
shall prepare the way before me, and Adonai, whom ye seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom you delight in. Behold, he shall come, says Yahuwah, Sabaoth, Yahuwah, Sabaoth, Yahuwah of hosts, Yahuwah, Sabaoth. Who can approach? His glory has filled the temple, making wise the simple, the Ancient of Days. Let's walk in his ways, the ancient path, walk with a staff. Zaba, Zaba, a man of war, after Yahuwah's own heart. Who will abide the day of his coming? Who shall stand when he appears? The day comes that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that comes shall burn them up, says Yahuwah Sabaoth, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch, but unto you that fear my name shall the brilliance of righteousness arise with healing wings, and you shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall, and you shall tread down the wicked, for there shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, says Yahuwah Sabaoth. This is he of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before your face, which shall prepare your way before you. For I say unto you, among these that are born of women, there is not a greater prophet than Yehukanan the immerser, but he that is least in the kingdom of Yahuwah is greater than he. Yehukanan the immerser was not the light, but light, Hamashiach. We have become that light. No man, when he has lighted a candle, covers it with a vessel or puts it under a bed, but sets it on a menorah, that they which enter in may see the light. Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
We give you glory for your name's sake. You are the creator, the same yesterday and forever. You are mighty and you're great and you're sovereign. We are your people and you are Elohim. Through your worship, we are redeemed with your strong arm. Fight for us, fight for us, fight for us, yeah, fight for us, fight for us, fight for us, fight for us. We're your people. You are Elohim, so we worship, we bow down and pray to you. Oh, it's a battle, spiritual battle, battle, it's a battle. Fight for us, fight for us. Fight for us, fight for us, fight for us, fight for us.
South 71 Music.
Barak Yahuwah, O Nefeshi, Barak Yahuwah, O Nefeshi, Barak Yahuwah, O Nefeshi, O Nefeshi, Nefeshi. Barak Yahuwah, O Nefeshi, Barak Yahuwah, O Nefeshi, Barak Yahuwah, O Nefeshi, O Nefeshi. Barak Nefeshi, Yahuwah, Korebi, Shem, Koresh, Shem, Koresh. Barak Nefeshi, Yahuwah,
Who forgives all your iniquities, who heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from destruction, who crowns you with loving kindness and tender mercies, who satisfies your mouth with good things, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles.
All right, everybody, that was our worship portion. Now it's time for the testimonies. Anybody have anything that they want to say out loud that they're thankful for this week? Of course, we all woke up, so y'all will root us with that.
But I got something. Oh, just want to thank the Most High for healing, a smooth healing. I mean, I'm still healing, but it's been smooth. So I'm thankful for that postpartum healing. The baby and I are both well. The other children are well. Husband as well. So, yeah, just thankful for the Most High. Just continuing to cover us and keep us throughout this time, and yeah, just thankful for that.
All praise, all praise. Anybody else got anything they want to share?
Lady and the said, go ahead. Just for getting over this sickness that we had, me and Nazi. We had hand, foot, and mouth.
Oh, praise. Oh, I just love her. Oh. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll go real quick without any of the details because I knows, but I just want to say I passed the test. I passed a test. Yeah, brought me to another thing, and this time I passed the test. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Stacey Lacey. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
Christopher has a testimony.
So one day, I was walking out and then I sat down. I got stung by a bee, and then I got stung again. But I didn't cry at all. But my foot is still like kind of swollen. It's still big.
No,
getting stung.
It was,
It's
and then we put some bentonite clay on it,
but it still is.
and it took it down. Right, just a little sore. All praise.
All praise.
So like Chris, if anybody finna have some war wounds, it's finna be Chris every time.
Oh, Melly Mel was on the grill. Oh. Yes.
What
All
happened?
right, so you was on the grill. Tui said you was on the grill.
Oh, that ain't that. All praise.
All right, if there's no more testimonies, going once, going dos.
I have one.
Okay, Christina.
Yeah, I just want to praise Yahuwah for keeping my niece the other night. I know y'all probably saw in the chat, and I appreciate y'all for keeping her in your prayers. She had another seizure. It was I can't remember exactly what it's called, but her fever had spiked. So this is the second one she's had. But I also have a little testimony about that situation. Early that morning, febrile seizure. When she was discharged, we were walking outside, and mind you, my sister and her fiance, they are not believers. But my niece, she's a little over a year, but she kept pointing at the sky and saying something. And I couldn't really recognize what she was saying. Then when we got in the garage and we were about to leave, she kept pointing, saying, Abba, Abba. And I was like, what did she say? And I looked at my mom, and my mom looked at me, and we were like, did she say Abba? And my sister's fiance, now I don't know if he was like mocking or anything, but he was like, praise Abba. And I don't know if he even knows what he was saying, but I was like, yeah, praise Abba. She just kept pointing, saying, Abba, Abba. So I just wanted to praise Abba for that and for keeping her. But out of the mouth of babes, I love it.
Oh yeah, all praise. Gotta give a big hand. I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps hearing that. Wow. Anybody else?
Can I double dip for a second, kind of on that? First and foremost, a testimony to hearing Sister Christina. I don't know if I've ever heard her talk so much. Hallelujah. But let me just. Okay, so this week we were at a volleyball game with Sophia's. The neighbor who is he's like a nephew to me, right? Like he's super close. He came to watch Sophia play, and his mom was sitting behind me, and he just kept getting. He had come from football practice, and he was sitting there, and he was just like breathing funny, and he was kind of just out of breath, and he was like sweating. He started getting clammy. We're sitting inside the gym, and he said, my chest is hurting. He's only 14. And so his mom walked out. She said, let's go get some air. And I followed out and I said, hey, if you want to take him, I'll take his sister. She was keeping score or whatever. I said, I'll bring him home, whatever. And all of a sudden, right before my eyes, he collapsed and his mom went right there. And so anyway, long story short, he's actually okay. There's a severe potassium deficiency is what they found so far. The EMS was there. I mean, we got out the AED. It was a whole scene, but we were just sitting there praying over him. It was beautiful. But the beautiful part in the midst, so after the fact, I brought the other siblings home, and the mom was saying, so keep Simeon lifted. Hopefully it's nothing more, but anyway, so his mom came home and she said to me, she said, when he was down there on the ground, he said to her, he said, Mom, I think I'm dying. I think I'm going to die. And I'm just praying. And in that moment, when Wendy told me, when the sister told me, I immediately had a flashback to last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Brandy's little one, Bash, he's got a severe issue with thunderstorms. He hates them. He sees clouds. He even sees clouds and he starts getting a little scared, whatever. And we had this massive thunderstorm roll into Detroit a couple weeks ago when we were driving home. And before we got in the car, I had this vision at that time when she said that Simeon thought he was going to die. Bash at that time, that boy hit his knees so hard because Brandy trains them to say in any kind of situation, I trust you, whether they're hurt, whether they're sick, whether whatever. They just start saying, I trust you, yeah. I trust you, yeah. And here was this boy, this little 7-year-old boy on his knees, just literally going, whatever you got to do, yeah. Whatever you got to do, yeah. I trust you, yeah. I trust you, yeah. And so when Wendy told me that about Simeon, thinking he was going to die, I thought of Bash saying that. I'm thinking of Christina's niece. I'm thinking, man, y'all, number one, Hasatan is out for these children, right? These babies. But number two, Yah's allowing it. He's going to use it because it's growing their faith. They got to go through these things and we can teach them and all that, whatever. But at the end of the day, they got to, man, they got to do it, and they're doing it. They're doing it, whatever it takes. So anyway, I just thought I'd share. Hallelujah.
Oh, praise. Definitely happy to hear that. Abba always comes through every time. Alrighty, if there's no more testimonies. Good job brushing your teeth. Thank you.
Can I take my juice?
Go ahead. Alrighty. Any prayer requests?
I got one. So obviously, a few of us know that my childhood pastor, he passed away. So my parents and a few of the members that used to go to that church that I grew up in, they are gonna do get that water right there. They are gonna do something on the 20th. Obviously, towards the end of his life, he wound up being homeless and whatnot. Living off the streets and stuff like that. In an effort to, I guess, represent, who he was and where he was, they're gonna do, a giving back, to the community, and like, I guess, to shed light on him and whatnot, and give thanks to the Most High as well for him. So all who feel led, you can reach out to me. All who feel led to give an offering, to go towards the cause. You can just reach out to me, send me a DM or, whatever. And I'll get the offering to them. That way they can have, deodorant and, whatever, little bags and stuff like that, whatever the homeless in the community needs. So all praise to the Most High.
Anyone else? Okay. All right, well, if there's no one else, anyone want to send up that prayer for us? For Josh P. All right, if nobody wants to send it up, I can be the one to send it on up for us. Alrighty. Abiel, we come to you today and say thank you so much for allowing us to wake up today, giving us breath in our bodies, allowing our babies to wake up, our families. We ask that you continue to keep us in good health, Abba. Yo, as we see some of our brothers and sisters are facing a lot of spiritual lethargy, spiritual weariness, we ask that you continue to give us the strength and guidance of the Ruach HaKodesh to overcome everything that we are facing. We ask that you're able to rebuke anything that was sent from the enemy of Hasatan in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, Ab Yahuwah. We also ask that you allow the Ruach HaKodesh to guide anyone who may feel like they can be led to help Malakia with giving back to that community. Also praying for Cliff to overcome anything he's going through, anything for Josh P, anything he's going through. Abba, you know exactly what they're facing, so we ask that you're able to give them the strength to overcome any and everything. And as we are going through the rest of Shabbat today, we ask that you give our bodies the rest we need. Any of our babies or anybody that's facing sickness, we ask that you're able to give us health to overcome any of that sickness, Abba. And we want to say we love you, we thank you, we believe in you, we have faith in you, Abba Yahuwah. In your son's name, Yahushua HaMashiach, Yada Yahuwah.
Yada
Yada
Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
Yada Yahuwah.
Yada
Yahuwah.
Yada
Yada
Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
Alrighty, who leading today? Who doing the word today?
Cut your camera off.
It's Prime on a dime, make it chime all the time. Who better to make it rhyme?
Ah.
Press one. Press one still.
Shalom, Mark, doing well.
This is gonna be the last section of our works of the flesh. Get to it here. So today we're gonna be talking about the section of our works of the flesh. Get to it here. So today we're going to be talking about drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of which I tell you before, as I've told you in time past, that they which do these things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yah. So all these things here we're going through are all ways to keep you out the kingdom. So, like for that,
Excuse me, do you need me to share?
give me a second.
I'm glad you asked, because I was going to be like, we can't see nothing.
Y'all see that? Y'all see that?
Yes, sir.
Alright, bet. Alright, here. So, we're going to get started with adultery, right? So, adultery, and our reference number for that is G3430. And what it says there is adultery, adulterer. Going along with that is the Thayer definition: to commit adultery, to be an adulterer, to commit adultery with or have unlawful intercourse with another's wife, of a wife, to suffer adultery, be debauched. Right, and then D says a Hebrew idiom, a word that is used of those who at a woman's solicitation are drawn away into idolatry, eating of things sacrificed to idols. Right. So that is what adultery is. Now, adultery can be both physical adultery as well as spiritual adultery. And what we're going to do is kind of break down both sides of it here. We're going to do it in the physical and in the spiritual as well. So we'll get started with the physical, right? So in the physical here, all right, we're gonna start here with Exodus 20:14. And it reads, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." So we know right there, out of the 10 Commandments, we're not supposed to be doing this, right? You're not supposed to commit adultery, right? It's the, I guess you call it, it's the sexual unfaithfulness, you know, in the physical, right? It's committing adultery, and it kind of breaks it down a little better in the next verse here. So let's go to Leviticus 20:10. And I put most of the verses into it here to try to help out with being able to see it. So you'll have it there for most of them. I'm still going to kind of flip to mine there because some of them are a little longer. And it reads, Leviticus 20:10, "And a man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death." So you see the sin here, or the penalty here for adultery is to be put to death, right? Because this is a thing here that you're not supposed to, you know, lust after another man's wife, or as a woman lust after another woman's husband, right? So the penalty for this, because it was such a huge crime in the Most High's eyes, is that both of them are put to death, right? Both parties are put to death. And it goes and explains more on it of why that is in Proverbs here. So we're going to go to Proverbs 6, starting at verse 24 here. And it reads, "To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattering of the tongue of a strange woman, lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. Can a man take fire in his bosom, and his clothes not be burnt?" Right, so just so far, you know, what I take out of that right there is, you know, where it says, "Can a man take fire in his bosom and not be, and his clothes not be burnt?" Like that's something we know you can't do. Like if fire is on you, you're gonna be burned by this. So in a sense, like lusting after this woman like this, like it's gonna cause you to sin. Exactly, there's gonna be consequences to your actions, right? And so to keep going there, can one go up upon hot coals and his feet not be burnt? Same thing. So that he that goeth into his waver's knife, whosoever toucheth her shall not be innocent, right? Men, do not despise the thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry, right? So it's saying don't despise the thief when he steals, you know, food, because, you know what I'm saying, that thief is he's stealing that food because he's hungry, right? And if he's found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house, right? So, but whosoever committeth adultery with a woman, he lacketh understanding. He that doeth destroy his own soul. So that's why the penalty is so stiff for adultery, because the person that is committing adultery, you know, they destroying their own soul. That's a how I say that is a crime of passion, not against just, you know, another person, but it's also within yourself, you know, because you're lying with that person. So and then one more here I got for us is out of Sirach 23, 18. Yeah. And it reads, a man that breaketh wedlock, saying in his heart, who seeth me? I am encompassed with darkness, the walls cover me, nobody seeth me. What need I to fear? The Most High will not remember my sin. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of Yahuwah are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding the ways of men and considering the most secret parts. So in that, like, you know, the person that's committing adultery, they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm good. Like, my wife don't know, my husband don't know. We're doing this on the slide, don't nobody know. But as it reads here, the Most High sees this, right? So even if you think you're getting away with it, right, you're not getting away with it, and you know what your penalty is gonna be, right? If you don't repent and turn back from this, like, it's death. It's death. So that's it in the physical.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you got a couple things in the chat. They was wondering what verse was that in Sirach.
It's 23 and 18. Yeah, Leah wrote it there for us.
Okay, and then Uzi Yahoo got his hand up, and if you don't mind, I got a precept after him.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
All praise to the Most High. Proverbs
So yeah, for the spiritual, we're gonna start in Jeremiah. It's gonna be Jeremiah 3, verse 8 and 9 here. And it says, and I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and also played the harlot. And when it came to pass through the lights of her whoredom, that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and stocks. Yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah hath not turned from me with her whole heart, but faintly, said Yah. Right. So it shows here that going, after other gods or other gods of stone, other gods of wood, committing, different acts with other gods, like, back then they had Molech, who had you, burn your children in the fire, right? So those acts right there are all forms of adultery right there, because you were unfaithful to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? You were doing things which, we are all his, the bride. So in that, or Israel's his bride, but in that, that act of going after other gods, you're committing adultery. That's where that comes from in a spiritual aspect, right? Ezekiel as well. We're gonna go there. It's Ezekiel. We'll start at 16, verse 1. All right, verse 16, verse 1, and it reads, Again, and the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations, and say, Thus say Yahuwah unto Jerusalem, Thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan. Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother a Hittite. And as for thy nativity in the day thou was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supple thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. None I pitied thee to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee, but thou was cast into the open field to the loathing of thy persons in the day that thou was born. Right, so right there he was basically saying, Israel, y'all know how it was. I found y'all, and y'all were nothing pretty much at that point when I found y'all. You weren't washed, you weren't clean, you weren't nothing, right? So we'll continue on. And when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thine own blood, I say unto thee, thou wast in the blood, live. Yea, I say unto thee, when thou wast in the blood, live. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased in wax and grape, and thou art become two excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, thine hair is grown, whereas thou was naked and bare. So, he's saying, I cleaned you up. I got you together. Like, I got you together. Your hair started growing. You know what I'm saying? You done grew up a little bit. Now, when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love, and I spread my skirt over thee and covered thy nakedness. Yea, I swear unto thee and entered into a covenant with thee, saying, Yahuwah, and thou becamest mine. Then washed I thee with water, yea, I washed thee thoroughly away with the blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. I clothed thee also with bridal work, and showed thee with badger skin, and I girded thee with fine linen, and covered thee with silk. I'm going to keep reading here a little bit, but what he's painting a picture of is how he took us from nothing, right, and clothed us and decked us, ornamented us out. We got bracelets now. You know what I'm saying? He's perfected us, right? That's what he's saying here. Like, I made you into something, because you were nothing at the time, right? So I'm gonna skip down to verse 13. Thou was decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen and silk, embroidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour and honey and oil, and thou was exceedingly beautiful and did prosper. And did prosper into a kingdom. And thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness, which I have put upon thee, saith Yahuwah. But thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and played the harlot because of thy renown, and poured out the fornications on everyone that passed by his it was. And out of thy garments did I take in the deckings the high places with diverse colors, and played the harlot upon. And things and like things shall not come, neither shall it be. Thou hast taken thy fair jewels of my gold and silver, which I have given thee, and have made us to thy self images of men, and didst commit whoredoms with them. Right. So he's saying there, like, y'all took the gold that I gave you and turned it into idols. Like, how could you, you know what I'm saying? Basically, how could you do this to me? Like, I done everything to help you, to make you beautiful, and then when I bring you into this new land, or I bring you into this place, you go and commit whoredoms with all the other people. The exact thing I told you not to do. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's what it was. A slap in the face. It was literally a slap in the face. That's exactly what it is. I'm gonna skip down to 21 here and start here. Thou hast slain my children and delivered them to cause them to pass through the fire for them. Right. So that's what I was talking about. Like that's the Molech thing, right? And in thine abominations and thy whoredoms thou hast not remembered the days of thy youth, when they were naked and bare, and was polluted in thy blood. And it came to pass that after all thy wickedness, saith Yahuwah, thou hast also built unto thee an enmity place, and have made an high place in every street. And thou hast built a high place at every head of the way, and hast made thy beauty to be abhorred, and hast opened thy feet to everyone that has passed by, and multiplied thy whoredoms. Right. So it's saying, like, y'all, any other nation or anything that came around showing you any type of doctrine or anything, y'all was just doing it. Y'all was just going with it. You know what I'm saying? Provoking them to anger, right? That's exactly what this is, just provoking the Most out of anger, right? So then I'm gonna go down a little bit here. Verse 30. How weak is thine heart, saith Yahuwah, seeing that thou does all this thing, the work of an imperious whorish woman, in that thou buildest thine eminent place in the head of every way, and make thine high place in every street. And thou hast not been as the harlot in that thou scornest hire, but as a wife that committed adultery, which takes strangers in the stead of her husband. All right. So what he's saying is, y'all, you know, you weren't playing the harlot in the sense of that you were paying, you know, or you were being paid for what you were doing. It was more of adultery. You know, you were going after other men instead of, you know, the Most High. So that's exactly what it was. Spiritual adultery. He breaks it down and shows it. Another one here shows it. We're going to go to Jeremiah 23 and 14. And in Jeremiah 23 and 14 it reads, I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem a horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen also the hands of the evildoers, that none doeth return from his wickedness. And they are all of them unto me as Sodom and the inhabitants of Gomorrah. Therefore thus saith Yahuwah of hosts concerning the prophets, behold, I will feed them with wormwood, and make them to drink the water of God. For the prophets of Jerusalem is profaneness gone forth into the land. Thus saith Yahuwah first, hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you, they make you vain. They speak a vision of their own heart and not out of the mouth of Yahuwah. So even the prophets was out here doing wrong, right? So the prophets was out here basically got people going after their own way. The prophets telling them stuff that they want them to do and not, thus saith the Most High, right? So it showed that this adultery was rampant through. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just the people; it was the prophets too out here doing it. It was all bad. He likened it to Sodom and Gomorrah, and you know what he did to Sodom and Gomorrah. So that was the feelings he had, toward Israel at this time. Because that's how far they had gone, straight away from him. So go ahead, Malak, y'all.
Yeah, in that verse, let's see, I think it was verse 15. What verse was that? Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts concerning the prophets, behold, I will feed them with wormwood and make them drink water of gall. So that pretty much kind of reminded me of why the 144,000 would be found with no gall. When you said gall, I thought you had said gall, but nonetheless, it's pretty much saying the same thing. They're gonna be found spotless, not like these prophets right here. That was wilding and doing everything else when they were supposed to be the example. The 144,000, they're gonna be a true example, of the light of the Most High. So all praise.
That's a good observation there. I tell you another observation I kind of take from this too is in 15 where it says, "Behold, I will feed them with wormwood and make them to drink the waters of God." Well, wormwood, if you know, that is actually the star that's gonna fall, right, and destroy a third of the waters over in Revelations 8:11. And it basically kind of tells you that's what wormwood does. It's going to basically poison the waters, right? So just thought that was a nice little thing. I'll read that in Revelations 8:11. It says, "And the name of the star is called wormwood, and a third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were bitter." Right? So that's one of the judgments, right? One of the plagues that's going to happen, that a third of the waters are going to be turned to poison, right? And anytime y'all got some free time, go and just type in Google asteroid wormwood and just see what you see. And let me know what you find out of that. I ain't gonna go too deep into that, but just see what you see. Let me know what you find. So let's move on. We're gonna move on to fornication here. Let's talk a little bit about it, right? So fornication, right? G reference G 4202. And it says here, harlotry, including adultery, incest, fornication. Their definition: illicit sexual intercourse, adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbian intercourse with animals. It's B says sexual intercourse with relatives, sexual intercourse with divorced man or woman, metaphorically the worship of idols. So when I'm reading this, I'm getting here that adultery is a form of fornication. So it goes in with fornication, right? So adultery ties right into fornication. Another thing I noticed here, y'all see the actual Greek word for fornication there? Porneia. I thought that was pretty wild there, that the Greek word for fornication is porneia, porn. Crazy, right? Like, it's the textbook definition of porn. Fornication. It is it. So, No, it's just one of them things that I wonder how many people know that. And well, you know, yeah, exactly. They know what they putting out there, right? Right. They know what they putting out there. Just, but think about how many people are stumbled by that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can think you're doing everything right, but you watching that, you just fornicate. Just fornicate, right? Because that's one, you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, I'm not hurting nobody else.
If I may add to that, actually.
Go ahead.
I was listening to an interview recently from a producer.
All right, nah, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I think we got you. So yeah, no, I definitely feel you there. Go ahead, Uzi Yahoo. first verse. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 6:18 here. And it says, actually, I'm going to start at 16. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body? For one saith he shall be one flesh, but he that is joined unto Yahuwah is one spirit. Right? So flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication sinned against his own body. Right? So, you know, it kind of said that, you know, basically the same thing about adultery, right? It said, you know, in Proverbs, it said that he destroys his own soul, you know, and you see that going hand in hand there like that, because adultery is a form of fornication. So that's why it's saying this, like, committing fornication, you're sinning against your own body, like you're sinning against yourself. Like, why would you do that? It's just basically, you know what I'm saying? Why would you let it get to that point, right? And then oh man, listen, you ain't the only one. Yahoo, you ain't the only one. You ain't the only one. That perversion got a lot of people, man. But with that, right? So, second verse I want to go to, we kind of already touched on it. Will be Proverbs 7. Proverbs 7. Here, I'm gonna start at verse 5 with it. Okay. And just kind of touch back on it, because we had already kind of went over here, but that they may, let me say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinsman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth her with words, right? So, you know, we had just read this here, and basically it was just showing how this woman set up, you know, she wasn't looking for nobody in particular. This man just had to be passing through. She was waiting on whoever came down that street. You know what I'm saying? So in that, understanding that, you know, think about it from the, you know, porn industry standpoint, right? They not necessarily looking for you. It's whoever coming down that street, they got something for them, right? Hey, got something for you to watch here, right? So you have to be diligent and make sure that you're staying away. You're not even putting yourself in a position to where you're not even in a position to where you can even be, hey, come here, hey, come talk to me. You're nowhere near it, so that you know, you flee from fornication, right? So that's what I got on that. I think who's a Yahoo? It kind of hit it on the head with that one. Go ahead. Who's a Yahoo? I see you got it.
But even then, even if you do.
All right, or one that's just weak in the moment. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like that too. Sometimes you're just weak in that moment. You know?
Yeah.
So you just gotta flee, stay away from it. The third verse here, we're gonna go over here to Tobit, and we're gonna Tobit chapter 4. And we're gonna start at verse 12 here. Alright, and it says, beware of all whoredoms, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we, as the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning even they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and in their seed shall inherit the land. Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, in not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction, and much trouble, and lewdness is decay, and great want for lewdness is the mother of thy famine. Let not the wages of any man which thou hast wrought tarry with thee, but give it out of thy hand to serve. For it thou serve Yah, he will also repay thee. Be circumspect, my son, in all things that thou doest. Be circumspect and be wise. Right. So really, what we're taking from this verse here is that you wanna make sure here that, because in like I said, in pride is destruction, right, and lewdness is decay. Lewdness, right? That lewdness, that's fornication right there, right? So what it's telling you is to get you a wife so that you're not in a are setting yourself up to be in a situation where there can be great wants, right? That's what it's called there, right? Great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine. So basically, for fornication is the mother of famine. Like, doing these things are gonna cause you to fail, right? Right? Famine, I ain't never heard of a good famine ever, right? So like you said, the enemy waits for the most opportune time to get. Exactly. It wants to get you, and it's usually when you either puffed up in pride, right, or or you're weak. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it does. First Corinthians 7:5. Let me look through my notes before I make sure I remember. You all around it, but we're gonna go there. First Corinthians 7:5. They put in the chat here, and it says, "Defraud not one another, except ye be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourself to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your inconsistency." Right. So, 4 goes.
That matter, things of the Most High. Anything that's not centered around the things of the Most High, and you just keeping yourself away from your husband or away from your wife, and it's not pertaining to the Most High, it's going to result in something. Normally, it's going to result in something bad. The husband is going to fall to the lust, or the wife might fall to the lust. So on and so forth. So if you're keeping yourself from each other, let it only be by things pertaining to the Most High and nothing else. It'll keep us both sides out of trouble.
Oh, praise! Hey, that's a whole word by itself right there. That's a whole word by itself. For both there, don't defraud one another unless you're both in agreement. You know what I'm saying? I mean, is that saying that if one is not in agreement, what that mean? What you do then?
You want me to answer that, or you want to talk about it after the call?
I'm just asking. You know what I'm saying? She's talking about you get on. That's too. I don't think that's what they're saying. Because then we gotta talk about the other fruits, right, of the spirit. What with a little love, you come into agreement with the spirits of the bloodline. Alright, I'm done with y'all. Let's move on. Let's talk about it in the spiritual. Alright, we've had enough of the physical. Let's talk about the spiritual. So, in spiritual, here we go. In spiritual, fornication there. So with it's gonna be that unfaithfulness to the Most High, right? Mixing the truth with falsehoods, just idolatry, all idolatry kind of, it goes in there as well with it. And reason why I say that, we're gonna start here with Hosea 4 and 12. All right, let's start here. Do y'all know do y'all know the story of Hosea? Like what he had to do? 'Cause most people know like his story. What the Most High made Hosea do?
He married a hoe.
He married her. Okay, yeah. Yeah. And he made him do that so that he could see how the Most High was feeling about Israel at the time, right? So he made him marry this whorish woman so that he could see how the Most High was feeling about Israel, right? So Hosea 4 and 12, right? And it reads here. My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declared unto them, for the spirit of whoredoms has caused them to err, and they have gone a whoring from under Yah. They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountains and burn incense upon the hills under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery. And it says, I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery. For themselves are separate with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore the people that do not understand shall fall, right? So basically at this point, he was sick of them. He was giving them over to their own vile, affections or whatever you want to call it there, right? But it's showing there that the people were, like it said, taking counsel at their stocks, right? And their staff declared with them. So their stocks, they're taking advice from stones. You know what I'm saying? They're listening to stones, right? It's passed down to your children as well. Yeah, exactly. So that's what it's saying. That your children there are seeing this thing. So then, of course, they watching you do it, right? We can tell them all the time, do as I say, but they gonna really do what you do, right? So that's what that is really showing there. That if you are showing your children, oh, I'm praying to these idols and these things right here, it don't matter what you tell them. Oh, read the law, do the law. Like, you're not. So why would they, right? For the second one, let's go Numbers 25 and 1 here. So Numbers 25 and 1. And it says, and Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredoms with the daughters of Moab. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bow down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against Israel, right? So right here it shows another example of a spiritual, fornication there. We're supposed to be the children of the Most High, following his laws, and here they are in Shittim doing what the people there do, worshiping Baal, at Peor, right? So they're over here worshiping Baal, knowing the Most High is going to be furious with us for that, right? So showing another aspect of, here they go here, spiritually fornicating again. Alright, let's go second Esdras. Got one out of there for us. We're going to go second Esdras. Right. It sounded like a setup. I guess they ain't think like that. Alright. So here, second Esdras, we're going to start at verse 7 here. And it says, and everyone shall be saved, and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be hold on, I think I actually want to go back
in what chapter?
This is gonna be 2nd Esdras chapter 9. I'm actually gonna start at 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and works, and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. And everyone shall be saved, and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in the land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they have loathed my law, and they have yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. And therefore be not curious how the ungodly shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is and for whom the world was created. All right. So he's telling us here that the righteous will have their part, and the unrighteous will have their part as well. Don't be weary or be upset because you see the unrighteous living and doing, whatever they want to, fornicating, going against the Most High, and nothing's happened to them, right? You're like, man, that man don't do nothing, but he out here living the good life here on earth, right? Here on earth. So exactly, they already have their reward, right? But he tells them that after death there will be pain, right? So we know that's waking up to the second death, right? That's the eternal damnation death, right? So they going in the lake of fire. Is that basically what he's telling you? Don't worry about them. They going in the lake of fire. All you need to worry about is how the righteous will be saved. That's it. That's it. So when we're thinking on these things, or you're feeling some type of way because you walking the right path, but you see others who aren't, like, don't worry about it. They got their reward now, and then they'll really get their reward at the end, right? So, all right, one more for us here with this one here, and we're gonna go to Wisdom of Solomon. That's where we're gonna go with this one here, because nobody's wise as Solomon, so I figured we gotta have a verse from him. So we're gonna go Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12. No, Wisdom of Solomon. Mm-hmm. Oh, my bad. All right. So it says, I'm gonna let me start at 11 there, right? So, and it reads, therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles there should be a visitation, because in the creature of Yah they become an abomination and a stumbling block to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption unto life. What? So what that's saying there is that the devising of idols, like creating idols, that was the beginning of spiritual fornication, right? The invention of them, the corruption of life. So that's how it all got started, right there, from the creation of those idols, right? I want to read y'all something here too that I found that, man, this here kind of goes along with it. Let me see it here. And we're going to go down just a couple verses here. Check this out right here, right? So it says, and this will kind of lead us into idolatry as well, right? So it says, for by vain glory of men they entered into the world, and therefore they shall come shortly to an end. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he had made an image of his child soon taken away, now honored him as a god, which was then a dead man, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifice. Thus, in process of time, an ungodly custom grew strong, was kept as a law. Engraven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings, whom men could not honor in presence, because they dwelt far off. They took the counterfeits of his visage from far, and made an express image of a king whom they honored, to the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him with him that it was absent, as if he were present. I feel like there was a lot said there in them verses, right? But so what I took from these verses here, right, is a father, he lost his child, right, and he made an image of that child, or took a picture of that child and put it up in the house, right? He put it up in the house, and that's what he used to remember his child. But in that, it became so deep that it was almost honoring him as a god, right? Because you're not supposed to make graven images, right? We're not supposed to be making graven images. So that right there kind of shows how the devising of idols it even began, right? It started off as something small. RIP t-shirts. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down. Like it's something that you think is so small, right? But it shows that right there, you know, you think you're just honoring that person, but really you dishonoring the Most High, right? That's not what you're supposed to be doing. Who supposed to bury the dead? Dead bury the dead, right? We not even supposed to really be in that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when it says, you know, in the process of ungodly customs grew, like it became a custom, down to the point where that's how, you know, kings and stuff got down. Like they had their pictures in your house and stuff. Now you got a picture of this king, this president. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all remember when everybody had a Barack picture in their house. Why? I don't know. Well, I remember my aunt gave us all one for Christmas one time. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got as a present. Like, I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? When it just goes to show, like, nah, they was honoring that man, right? That was idol worship right there. That was idol worship, right? So we just gotta be very careful of these things, because it shows how quickly you can slide into idolatry, right? How fast it can become idol worship, right? Alright, here, so let's go into idolatry here then. Let's talk about it. You said, nah, me, I knew it was not like that. I feel you on that. It was just something about that image that it never really sat right with me. I didn't know why. It just never did really. You know what I'm saying? It was just something about it. Like, man, for real. Then as I got older, it definitely, you know what I'm saying, I started learning a little bit, you know, just in history, how we were treated. Like, why would we dare, you know what I'm saying, believe something like that? But that's a topic for another time as well. But alright, idolatry, right? So reference number G1495, and it's from G1497 and G29 or G2999. Image worship, literally or figuratively, idolatry. Right? That's what it is. Image worship, literally, figuratively, idolatry. Their definition: to worship false gods, idolatry, a formal sacrifice of feast held in honor of false gods, of avarice, a worship of mammon, a worship of money. That's idolatry as well. The vices that sprang up from idolatry and peculiar to it, right? So start with Exodus 20. We read this earlier, right? This right here tell us you're not supposed to be doing this. It's just right here in Exodus 20. So we're gonna start here, Exodus 20. We're gonna start at verse 3 here. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Which is just what we just talked about, right? In the last verses, right? How they were making images. Any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth, right? So we're not supposed to be making images of nothing, right? No graven images of anything, right? Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor to serve them. For I, Yahuwah thy Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, right? So right there alone, we know idolatry is out. That's the first commandment. You know what I'm saying? So right there just shows how important not doing this is to the Most High. It's the first of the 10, right? Let's go here and just kind of break down what some of these idols are, like how they're made, right? So Psalms 115, 4 through 8, right? Yeah, that's one right there that you posted in chat. Mother Mary. All right, holding baby Jesus. That man too, he one too. That Pope, he idol too. Maybe kissing his hand, doing all kind of weird stuff with that guy. I'm not with it. I did see something though. Y'all see that thing about like the new Pope from Chicago or something like that? Alright, whatever, y'all got it. I just thought that was kind of wild. You got a whole world out here. That's why y'all chose the Pope from Chicago? Yeah, alright. But he's... What's that saying? Porsche said, it starts with repentance and forgiveness of yourself and others. Then bloodline repentance and so on. Whatever he gives you, each journey is unique. Oh, y'all talking about something else. I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all over here side chatting. I'm about to cut the chat off. Nah, I'll just stop. So, Psalms. Alright, so Psalms 115. And we starting at verse 4 there. And it says, their idols are silver and gold, the works of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses they have, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet they have, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throats. That they that make them are like unto them, so is everyone that trusteth in them, right? So, you know, what it's saying there is that all these idols are images, pictures, carvings, you know what I'm saying? And they all either look like somebody or, you know, they have a mouth, but you never heard them say no words. You never heard them listen to nobody. They ain't never smelt nothing. You know, they never reached out and touched nothing. They never walked, you know what I'm saying? Because they're not real, right? All these things are false, right? And when it says they that make them are like unto them, and so is everyone that trusts in them, y'all the same way. Oh yeah, they breaking all kind of laws. But yeah, you're idol worshiping, man. It's straight up idol worship. Idol worship.
If I can add, it's like it's been said. You break one, you break them all. You bow into these idols and doing this, that, and the other. One, you're putting somebody before the Most High. Got the graven image. you're not honoring your father, which is the fifth commandment, coveting something, man, you can just go through line by line and show how they're breaking them all just by doing that one.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. You can literally go through and show them, exactly how you break them off. Let's see here. So let's go to one more here. We're gonna go to Baruch, right? This one right here, and Baruch. We're gonna start at the 4th verse. I'm gonna read to the 14th verse. And it says, O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to Yah are made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. You were sold to the nations, not for destruction, but because you moved Yah to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. For ye provoked him that made you, by sacrificing unto devils, and not unto Yah. Ye have forgotten the everlasting Yah that brought you up, and have grieved Jerusalem that nourished you. For when she saw the wrath of Yah coming upon you, she said, Hearken, O ye that dwell about Zion. Yah hath brought upon me great mourning, for I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which have everlasting brought upon them. With joy did I nourish them, but sent them away with weeping and mourning. Let no man rejoice over me a widow, and forsaken of many, who for the sins of my children I am left desolate, because they departed from the law of Yah. They knew not his statutes, nor walked in the ways of his commandments, nor trod in the path of his discipline and his righteousness. Let them that dwell about Zion come, and remember ye the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting hath brought upon them. All right. So here is showing how through idolatry, worshiping other gods, going after these other gods, sacrificing unto other gods, that the Most High took us out of Jerusalem, right? That's how you got spread right there, because of idolatry, right? Because of this idolatry, worshiping first false gods, right? So we gotta make sure that we just keep our eyes on the Most High, right? Don't go after anything other than him. Don't bow down to no pictures. You know what I'm saying? No matter what the picture is or what it looked like, it's still a graven image. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter what it looked like, what color the picture is. It's still a graven image. You're not supposed to make that. You know what I'm saying? That's y'all. Yeah, there you go. Somebody, you're picking up what I'm putting down. Sometimes I like to say it without saying to see if y'all listening. You're picking up what I'm putting down, alright? We're not supposed to have no image. When we sing, we're supposed to be like, oh, that's what he looked like. Got it. Hype from that sky crack open. That one makes me itch. Shit. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Go ahead, cousin two.
I was gonna ask, have y'all ever seen
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. What's the sound bowl? I don't know what that is.
you never seen it? So it's like it's a bowl and then it has like a little tool and you I guess honestly me saying it now it makes sense, but it's like you do a circle. You know what I'm
I
saying?
used to practice that, like if you sitting like you used to do Eastern practices, whatever. You sitting like in the position where you getting ready to meditate, and then you start like banging on the bowl, and you like put the little tool around it to make the little vibration sounds. I used to do that.
Yeah, wouldn't that fall under like I guess you can say new age or whatever.
Yeah.
Sound like
That's
witchcraft.
crazy because I see people that's like I said on this walk and they doing that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is. I don't know why that's kind of wild right there. I thought I'd do a little something. I ain't never heard that. Yeah, that would have ran me up out of there. I'd be like, wait a minute. They're doing something strange. Now, I've seen, like, alright, so what I have seen is, like, these big old, like, things that kind of like a bowl, but they have, like, two of them, and they be playing music. It'd be, like, 5, 6 people, and they be like, is that what you're talking about? Like, is that the thing?
No. I don't think that's it.
It's a
Sounds like a witchcraft person.
That's why I said it's giving Erica. Badu, that is.
I was like, dang. I ain't think Erica was in no witchcraft.
No, I said Erica.
I wasn't gonna let her do you like that, Erica. I had your back.
Hey, look, she got me get ready to step up and say, hold on.
No.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, now we about to go in it from the spiritual, right? And this this right here is where it gets deep, y'all. It gets so deep. Right? When I found this right here, blew my mind, y'all. Blew my mind. Here we go. Right. So first verse 4 is gonna be in Colossians 3 and 5, right? So, and it says, mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. Wait a minute. So everything's idolatry then, right? That's what this is saying. Fornication, idolatry. Uncleanness, idolatry. Inordinate affections, we know what that is. Idolatry, right? Evil concupiscence, which goes along with inordinate affections. That's taking the natural or taking the unnatural for the natural, right? Covetousness, because right, these are all things which, when you're doing these, you're placing how you feel or how you think or any of that over the Most High and what He's doing. So, it's idolatry. It's idolatry right there, right? So, one more verse here we got is Wisdom of Solomon, right? So we're gonna go Wisdom of Solomon. Back pretty much that same where we were at 14. Just gonna go down a little bit here. Just kind of tied it all together for me, y'all. Wisdom of Solomon. We're gonna start at verse 27 with this one here. Actually, let's go 20. Let's go 25 so you can see it like I saw it here, right? 24. I'm gonna make me read the whole thing. I'm telling you, here we go. 24. They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another traitorously, murders, or grieved him by adultery, so that the reign of all men without exception, blood, manslaughter, death, dissimulations, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perview, disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good turns, defiling of souls, changing of kind, disorder in marriages, adulteries, shamelessness, uncleanness. For the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil, right? So when you pair this with the last verse, right, it's showing us there that all these things all stem back to idolatry, right? it's all idol worship. It's all idolatry in the eyes of the Most High, because with these things you are putting anything else over the Most High, right? So say let's look at them, right? Here go all the works of the flesh right here, right? So adultery. And I just put a little definition out beside each one. Unfaithfulness in marriage, right? Fornication, immorality outside of the marriage. Uncleanness is more impurity in thought, word, or deed, filthy behavior. Lasciviousness is unrestrained lust, lewdness. Idolatry, worship false god, or anything placed above Yah, right? Witchcraft, sorcery, use of magic, drugs, cult practices, hatred, deep hostility, enemy towards others. Variance is quarrels, discontention, emulations, that's envy, you know what I'm saying, leading to competitive strife. Wrath is outbursts of uncontrolled anger or rage. And we've talked about all these, right? So I'm going to just keep reading. I'm going to get all through all 17. Strife is contentious, self-ambition, or stirring up conflict between, people there. Seditions, that's dividing, or causing divisions, throwing up disorder against authority. Heresies, that's false teachings, or, teachings of the wrong doctrine. That's idolatry. That's the easy one to figure out. That's idolatry, right? Envying, resentment of others' blessings, so jealousy, right? Hating. How you gonna look at it? Same thing. Idolatry. Murders, taking life. Hatred that leads to violence, right? So that's just hatred that you didn't overcome, right? You end up taking their life, right? With drunkenness, excessive use of alcohol. And revelings, wild partying, riotous, feeding, unrestrained indulgence. Stacy said, I heard it once said, anything you fear losing is an idol. Yeah. That's something you want to put above them. Right, so check this out right here, y'all. So when we look at that, right, so all sin is ultimately a form of idolatry because it places something or someone above Yah in our hearts, right? So we just read them all out there, right? So we know adultery because it told us that adultery was basically fornication, and fornication was idolatry, right? Boom. So that knocks them to uncleanness and lasciviousness. That's that unbridled lust. That's that wanting to do what you want to do. That's idolatry. That's putting yourself over the Most High. Idolatry is clearly idolatry, right? Witchcraft or hatred. You're putting your feelings above the Most High, right? With witchcraft, that is you wanting to, have power or, knowledge of the occult, things that you're not supposed to have. Manipulation, right? Variance, you're causing strife to the point that that's not what you're supposed to do in the Most High, but you're doing it anyway, right? Idolatry, right? Wrath and strife, right? Wrath is that rage, that unbridled rage, being so angry that you just lashing out, right? Strife is causing issues with people. When you're doing that, and you have that, that spirit on you of it's idolatry. Heresies, same thing, because you're literally creating a whole new doctrine. Like that's about as idolatry as it gets right there. Idolatrous as it gets, I guess you say. Envying and murder, same thing. In your heart, you are more upset with that person, that someone or something in your heart, and it's over the Most High and what He is telling you to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's how all these sins are a form of idolatry, guys. We gotta understand that to stay out of this, we or to keep from doing any of this, we gotta really keep our eyes on the Most High, man. We can't, you can't do any of these things because it's idolatry, right? Which is breaking the first commandment. So then see, when you think about it, it all just kind of builds there. Like you thought you just was hating somebody, but really you was breaking the first commandment. You know what I'm saying? You thought you just had a little strife with somebody, but really you was breaking the first commandment. Right? It says here, every sin elevates self, desire, or creation above Yah. Physical sins, adultery, fornication, drunkenness, they worship the pleasure, lust of the body more than Yah. Right? Spiritual sins, witchcraft, heresies, envying, worship power, knowledge, or worldly things. Right? So your heart becomes a temple for idols instead of Yah. Right? So what do we do then? How can we keep from doing these things? Right? How can we keep from doing these things? 1 Corinthians 10:14. First Corinthians 10:14. I'm actually read 13 as well. There hath no temptation taken you, but as is common to man, but Yah is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye be able to bear it. Wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry. Right? So in that, understanding that, yeah, you're going to be put in some situations, but the Most High always going to give you a way out of the situation so that you don't go into idolatry, right? Because you got one or two things you're going to do in that situation, right? You're going to do it the Most High way, the right way, or you're going to fall in that moment and do it the wrong way, and now you're back into idolatry right there. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got for y'all here today. Y'all, yeah, there you go. You hit it on the head. Y'all's way or the highway. Resist the temptation or it becomes idolatry. Exactly. That's it, guys. That's it.
You get ready to get left. Good job, bro. That's a good one. Thank you, Prime on the dime. That was a good word.
Hallelujah. Allow Yah on first.
letting y'all know where I stand. Yes, I might make some mistakes, and y'all can correct me sometimes, and I have to really take a step back and not be quick to be angry, just to really think about what you said before I respond, and I'm learning to do that. So so I yield from all of that. Shalom.
Shalom, all praise. Go ahead, King.
I was just gonna say, no, first and foremost, I appreciate you even coming out and saying that. You know, that's growth, and you know, and that takes humility from your own. You know, admitting that all that to yourself first and foremost, and you know, just I would say this, like to you, I guess, since you know everybody's listening, you know, none of us here are taking this walk lightly as well. You know, every single one of us here is taking this as serious as you, but you just got to remember and keep in mind that we're all different. And that's just part of being in, I don't want to just simplify it and say a group or assembly, but that's what it's like being in a family. And all of our goals are all the same. This ain't like when we was in the world and everybody had their own motives, intentions, and whatnot. Nah, we all in this for the same reason. We all trying to get to the kingdom. So we're all gonna, you know, play our role and do our part. You know, some will step up and say things to one another when need be said. Some approaches things differently, but nevertheless, you know, we all in this for the same reason. None of us just taking this as not or as
I don't know if it's me, Og, but I think you're breaking up.
Team, you're breaking up.
Yeah, you breaking up. Breaking up, King.
Which trust and believe. We there with you, you know, and so how we approach one another, how we speak to one another is this. I don't know if y'all can still hear me.
You might want to switch to Tuesday's phone if she's near you.
She said he at work.
Okay. All praise. But nonetheless, we did hear majority of what Hakeem did say, and I want to second that. I wasn't aware of any conversation beforehand yesterday. Since, you know, you spoke it amongst the assembly, you know, we'll talk about it amongst the assembly. I wasn't aware of anything that was spoken beforehand about, you know, any private conversation between you and anybody else. Anything that I said was just based upon what the Most High led me to say. Is, you know, so whatever, you know, that was, it just was. So, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, yeah, we all are striving. That's why I said yesterday, you know, all of us are trying to work out our own salvation. You know, we need not look to the left, need not look to the right. We only need to just look forward, you know, and keep our eyes stayed on the Most High. So I commend you, you know, for coming, you know, whether you felt like you was right or wrong, I commend you for coming and, you know, presenting yourself before the assembly, and then making things right. And we all welcome you, you know what I'm saying, with open arms. That's why after whatever was said yesterday, only thing that needed to be said was prayer. You know, let's just uplift our brother. You know what I'm saying? Let's uplift the assembly and make sure that we all have the right heart posture, because a part of being a family, a part of that family, you know, being this family on this walk, we are going to have, you know, little rifts and stuff like that. You know, that's a part of this walk, you know, but you got to know how to, you know, deal with, you know, each member. We all, like Ox said, we all are different, but we are all a part of the same body. So any issue that we have a part of this body, you know, we got to deal with them righteously, you know, in the ways of the Most High. So all praise to the Most High. We love you, Ox. Don't know hard feelings. We're just going to keep walking this thing. And we're gonna be men of the Most High, and we're gonna continue to move forward. I know the order.
I just want to say one more thing. I felt led to say this to you, Stacy. What I discern is that we have to separate ourselves. We have to quit communicating.
Well, hold on. What?
No. This is important. This is not anything against her. This is what the Most High is leading me to do. Like, because I realize I have some healing and some growing to do, and since I'm fairly walking, I still consider myself as a fairly new person in this walk. Coming out of Christianity and all that. So I have a lot of growing to do. There's a lot of things the Most High has to really break out of me. And I know me and her, we started, communicating and building a friendship. But at this point, the Most High is leading me to tell you, Stacy, we have to separate ourselves.
Hold on. I have to say this. I have to. There's a proper order in which we got to do things. The proper order is you got to go to that person one-on-one. If you got out with your brother or sister, take it. Let that be a one-on-one conversation first. And if y'all can't resolve anything one-on-one, then we come, and do it, amongst, the assembly.
Well, the way I'm doing it right now, I'm doing it just so all of y'all can be aware. That's why.
No,
I'm
it's
doing
okay,
it like
but the proper order, you got to go to her one-on-one first.
Matthew 18.
You got to go to her one-on-one.
15.
Yeah. So don't do it in the midst of the assembly right now. Go to her one-on-one first, and then if you need any help from there, if there ain't no understanding, then we'll tackle it. From that point. But appreciate you, all love. I know Uzi Yahoo wanted to say something, and I'm not sure which one was first after that, but all praise.
Felicia and Mattiyahu, y'all can go first, whichever one.
Go ahead, sis.
Sister Felicia, you there?
Hi. Hello.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I just wanted to say, first give praise to the Most High. And I'm going to say, I'm a seasoned type of, you can say Christian or whatever, but I do join in on my son's live because I'll listen to any and everybody, and I'm going to get the understanding from the Most High what's good for me, what works for me, and what don't work for me. So I'm just saying this. Y'all are doing an awesome job, but we also have to learn that everybody's not going to teach the same, and we got to learn to respect one another in the teaching, or ever how y'all want to call it, but you got to do it in love. Love covers a multitude of sin. And see, what that devil want you guys to do is to come up against one another, talk against one another, and you may not agree how I may bring the word, but that's when, like my son said, you got to go to that person one-on-one. Then if that doesn't solve it, then you bring 2 or 3 other people, and then if that doesn't work, you do it openly. And like he said, when you walk into something new, you got to understand, when a baby first started walking, he got to keep getting the support from mom or dad or somebody. So when newcomers are coming in, you got to understand it's like a new babe. So where you might can say to Melvin, you may not can say it to him. So we have to be wise of somebody else that's just coming in to what you call it, the assembly. So we have to be very careful. And we also got to understand, we all can stand in the room for correction. And don't never think that we know more than anybody else. I don't care where you go to church or where your assembly is at. It's all about that one person that sits high and looks low. And once we can get that, we don't have to worry about explaining ourselves to our brothers and sisters. Because you know what? We're walking in Yah, the Most High. And once we learn how to walk in the Most High and realize people are going to have different opinions how you may bring forth the word, whatever you want to call it. But we just have to be mindful and careful that people do have feelings. And the way you might have brought forth the word, he may not, or she may not understand it the way you guys understand it. Because to be honest, I didn't understand it in the beginning. But the more I listen to you guys, I'll be like, well, I understand them more by listening to them.